you regarding Russia, regarding China, regarding Taiwan, regarding the Navy, regarding the buildups, and then regarding what starts today. Today is the start of China's live fire drills. Now, I want to remind you guys and kind of bring you back in time to just about a week and a half ago, where we read about the declassified recent simulation that the US government actually played out. In that simulation, which was done last fall, it actually had a very specific scenario where it took a hypothetical situation where China would use some sort of bio thing to take out the South China Sea, U.S. allies, and everything else. Then go take Taiwan, and then from there, Taiwan take everything else. Now, let me preface everything here today with I'm going to point out that they are starting a drill right now. And I'm most likely going to point out every single drill they do from now until ever. And that's because that was a simulation that they thought was important enough to play out. And it doesn't mean that anything is going to happen today again. But once you kind of hear all of these bullet points, you'll understand why I'm kind of telling you this. Again, we didn't have a live 2-hour show tonight, which normally I would have went in detail with Dex and we would have talked about this. But we are doing, I'm doing work to try to switch walls with the studio. So I appreciate everybody's patience. So without further ado, let me get into this so we can get this done really quick. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate everybody that's being here. Again, share it if you can. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, so all right, let me get back to this. Okay, so China's military will begin live fire drills on Thursday, today. Now, I don't know what time it is in China, but I'm assuming these are already kind of kicking off. Hence why I think it was kind of important that we let you know that that's going on. Again, if you look at that simulation that was recently declassified, the headline of that was, if China did this, if China attacked us like this, they would win fast. And even in the Congress, they've talked about how bad they could take us if they did this very specific scenario. And if it's very public that we did this simulation and that they know that they would win, you would think if you were somebody who was possibly your adversary, might take a note or two. Again, it says that China's military will begin live fire drills on Thursday in the water off of Taiwan's southwest coast. It says, as in an unofficial U.S. delegation visits the self-ruled island. So as we're doing this visit, again, now we've also covered that we have kind of passed these certain things to make it easier to directly talk with Taiwan and to deal with them. They are going to be doing their drills out in the water. We've seen this before with different countries. As they're meeting with leaders, they're out in the waters doing their thing, puffing their chest. The difference between this is you have them posturing towards Taiwan, and at the same exact time, you have Russia posturing towards Ukraine. Is JB supposed to let both of those go? And I'll get to that here in a second, because JB said, our president said that basically he is going to unequivocally back up Ukraine, which means he's not just going to let it go, or at least that's what he says, right? And if he doesn't just let it go, that's where the seriousness comes in. If he does let it go, then everything goes back to normal. What do you guys think will happen? It says that the 6-day exercise will be carried out in the Taiwan Strait. If you kind of follow things over the last 10 years and the things that have been said about that, it's kind of crazy. Former U.S. Senator Chris Dodd and former Deputy Secretaries of State Richard Armitage and James Steinberg traveled to Taipei on Tuesday for a 3-day visit. They were sent by JB, our prez, with the White House describing the trip as, quote, a personal signal of his commitment to Taiwan and its democracy. So now you have both Ukraine and Taiwan having our president step out and say, hey, we got your back. Not to mention, we've had Tulsi Gabbard and other former Congress and now even current Congress now come out and say that this is getting serious. One thing I want to point out real quick is that, so like my mother-in-law was here today. She had no idea about any of this. And she is probably the most, kind of average media watcher ever. She doesn't watch too much. She follows stuff. She follows social media. She didn't even know about Taiwan and about, of course, Russia. That's crazy to me. They're not covering this. They're not covering it on front page. They're putting it on the last page. And then what's on front page is everybody's talking about the trials and, of course, the events, the single events that happen in a single country. With 8 billion people, they're focused on, one or two people or what's going on. And again, those are important issues as well. But should they be second to what is going on around the world? And again, if you go outside of the country and look at their news, they say it is the hottest it's ever been. People say, oh, crying wolf, you've said this for 3 years. I have not said this for 3 years. What I have said is that they are posturing and that the moves that they are making are going directly towards one goal. And that goal post is getting moved up every single day. I think it's almost impossible for anybody to be educated on this situation and be educated on everything going on and say, oh, this is just, fear-mongering. At the very least, it could be, propaganda, but it wouldn't be fear-mongering because right now we have real people in different countries telling us that they are moving around, that they are getting deployed. At the same time today, they actually brought back everybody from a certain country and said that they're ending the 20-year conflict, right? Wonder why. And by the way, Russia said if we ended that 20-year conflict, it would destabilize that country and they would be pissed off. So that's even further kind of like, part of the show. Beijing sees Taiwan as part of its territory, so of course they see it, to be brought under its control by force if necessary. These are all statements that they're broadcasting on their TV constantly. And of course, it could be just a puffing their chest, right? But why are we lining up artillery? Why are we doing these drills? Why are we exercising like there's no tomorrow? Why are we doing these drills at night? Why are we drilling with no GPS? Why did Russia separate its internet? Why have they been moving around stuff to the Arctic? Why are we all of a sudden calling places and ordering 200 Arctic vehicles, Arctic command vehicles? Who knows? State broadcaster CCTV aired a report on Tuesday on a recent 36-hour Chinese Air Force and Navy drill focused on surveillance and warning training in the Taiwan Strait in East China Sea. That was, of course, the source was their state-funded South China Morning Post. It says the Philippines and U.S. soldiers started 2 weeks of military exercises on Monday against a backdrop of rising tensions in the South China Sea. It says Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said that the joint drills would, quote, strengthen our capabilities in addressing traditional and non-traditional security challenges amongst the increasingly complex situation in the region and what they represent. It says, quote, a rock-solid commitment. Again, this is where they go into Ukraine. They said that that they have a rock-solid commitment to keep our ties ironclad. It says China was frowned on the drills in the past when some maneuvers were staged on the western coast of the Philippines, focusing on the South China Sea, where it is often accused that Washington is intervening in a purely Asian dispute. And then, of course, we have, same day, all of this stuff is happening. If you look back for the last 8 days and you look at everything that has happened per day, just add this to it. Russia deploys Iskander ballistic missiles close to Ukraine. Russia official sources claim that the R-500 missile carries the conventional 500-kilogram conflict head and nuclear conflict head with a yield of around 10 to 50 kilotons, which is, I believe, in the 50 kilotons. I think that's what the one of the first one or two Hiroshima or Nagasaki was, maybe less than that. So these are big boom booms. And then it says President JB spoke with Russian President VP on Tuesday, warning him to respect the territory of Ukraine or face consequences from the United States. It says President B emphasized the United States' unwavering commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, the White House revealed in a readout of a call sent to reporters. He also proposed, this is what, now Russia considers this a win for them. You can tell me in the comments what you think of why. It says Mr. B proposed the summit a summit with the Russians, according to the White House, in a third country agreed upon by both countries. So they're not even meeting in Russia or in the U.S. They're talking about meeting in like this like a drug deal or something. Like, oh yeah, let's meet on the corner at Dick's Drive-In, right? This is nuts. It says that they would meet in a third country agreed upon both countries. And again, you can answer in the comments why, if that's something that's traditional. If I'm like, oh, that's weird, and it's not, that's fine. And then B, it reiterated that U.S. support for Kiev's pro-Western government and urged Russia to de-escalate tensions, but also offered to hold his first face-to-face talks with Mr. Putin. And it says the full range of issues facing the United States and Russia. It says the B summit offer hailed in Moscow as a win for Putin. That is, of course, from the Moscow Times. So that is, again, from their state funded. All of the links and every article and every piece of information that I'm giving you here, we give you we back it up and bibliograph all of it. I don't even know if that's how you would say that word, but we bibliograph it, if that can be used as that way. We have all of these on our website, marfugelnews.com. So everything that we say here, we're not just making up. We're not saying, hey, on this date, this is going to happen. We make sure to use authoritative sources. We make sure to double check our work, and we make sure that everything is correct. Now, one question I would want to ask you guys is, why is this not on the front of everything instead of what is on the front page? People say, oh, that's just for show. Well, if it's for show, usually they put it front and center and they make sure that everybody knows about it. A lot of people don't even know that both of these things are going on right now. That is concerning to me. It says, now the Eisenhower Strike Group joins anti-IS effort. The Norfolk-based USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Strike Group started flight operations this week to support the continuing campaign against the IS state remnants in Syria and Iraq. So that is a kind of a bullet point. I know that was longer, but we had a lot of bullet points to go over. I guess my view on this is never take this stuff and stress out about it. Never take it and, this is the thing. I think that we should be paying attention to this, and I think that this is very much seriously. This is something that I'm passionate about, and this is something I would be doing even if I didn't have a channel. So remember that. There are people that say we do this for views or do this for that. We get the same amount of views no matter what we do. And again, especially when there was a whole year when we were out of the whole rhythm anyways, it doesn't matter if we shout from the top of our lungs something. Again, you don't get the views by actually doing the authoritative sources. You get the views by claiming something that you can't back up. There are some people saying that they have a specific date and that they know that everything is going to go down this date. Usually, sometimes maybe that's right, but usually that's something that you can't back up. This stuff is all smaller pieces to a bigger puzzle, and I hope that people realize that it has been, setting up for a long time. It takes years to get this kind of stuff done. This isn't just a regional thing where they can just kind of poo-poo off something, put some money and put some troops over there. This would be a world-changing event. And if you ask some experts, they say we are overdue for one of these world-changing events. So just think about this. If they're still land grabbing in 2021, if everything is changing so drastically in the world, our entire planet just changed last year at the beginning of 2020. It is still changed. You still have to go and wear certain garments that you didn't have to wear last year or 2 years ago in every store that you go into. Maybe you're lucky to live in one of those states that doesn't. But this is a world that has changed completely, and you didn't expect that, and you didn't think that that was possible. You didn't think any of this was possible, and you would have called it fear-mongering 2 years ago. People did. We warned people 4 months before this new event started, very specifically. We even brought you stats from the cat dog cat. So we brought you stats that showed you that they were expecting, just like how a certain doctor said that it was going to happen in the next presidency. There was a lot of information that pointed, and they basically said, we think it is not only overdue, it's going to happen like now, right? So they knew that. So pay attention to this stuff. This is the most posturing, the most drills, the most record-breaking kind of intrusions that we've ever had. We're talking about close to 40 jets and boomers flying over Taiwan. You've got over 100,000 troops on the Russian border. They are now accusing the U.S. of having research labs and all this other stuff. Again, we'll leave the links for all of this. Make sure to go check it out. And thank you guys for being patient. I've been up since 7:30 this morning, and we are going to have some awesome stuff. We got a couple of videos done. We have prepper minutes, and we have done an incredible job. We're going to be switching some stuff up and doing some extra videos for you guys. So thank you so much, and I hope that people see the value in this, and I hope people see the value in us doing the work to put all of this on the website. And thank you. If you want to protect yourself against certain things and help out the channel, I would highly recommend going to the website, checking out any of our affiliates. We've worked with EMP Shield for over a year. Make sure to go check those guys out. They are the same company that the government agencies like DHS, DOD, and of course the Texas Grid are going to help protect themselves against an actual electromagnetic pulse, which I hope will never happen. But at the same time, it also protects against solar flares, which are completely natural. And we are overdue, and it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So go check it out, marfugelnews.com/EMP. We are truly independent. We have no backup. You are our backbone. So thank you and much love. God bless from me and Dex and all of the mods, all of the crew that keep it an amazing place. Thanks for watching this all the way through. Thank you guys for anybody who did a super chat. I will have those on the next show, and I will read you guys out. Thank you. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.